The LA Kings just robbed the Washington Capitals in a massive trade involving Pierre-Luc Dubois and Darcy Kuemper. We're going to break down this trade and just talk about how these guys fit into their new clubs and much more coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, we got to say that 78% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed to the channel, so if you want to keep up to date on everything that's happening around the NHL and what's to come over this offseason, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything, and you know full rosters of teams going in to next season. But let's jump right into it. It's a huge PLD trade to Washington, and yes, as we take a look here from Eliiotte Friedman, he says he's still on the plane, but he's hearing that PLD, Pierre-Luc Dubois, is heading to Washington, and he believes the return is Darcy Kuemper. And yes, this is a massive trade. Earlier today, we already seen Jacob Markstrom be traded, and now we are seeing another huge trade come out of the NHL, being Pierre-Luc Dubois to Washington and Darcy Kuemper to the LA Kings. And my initial reaction to this is it is a massive steal for the Los Angeles Kings. And my reasoning for that is because Pierre-Luc Dubois is on an $8.5 or $8.25 million contract signed till the 2030-2031 season. Yes, he is 25 years old. Yes, he has signed a big deal, but just this past season, if we jump into his stats here, he only put up 40 points in 82 games. Yes, I mean, it isn't the best numbers. He's been a 60-point player throughout his career at points, but it kind of seems like PLD hasn't really found his footing, hasn't really found the right system for him to flourish in the NHL. At one point, he was a very, very highly touted prospect. I mean, going third overall in the 2016 NHL entry draft, and now, you know, has been moving all over the place from Winnipeg to Columbus to LA, now to Washington. It just seems like he's kind of floating around trying to find that spot where he can be, you know, the player everybody expected him to be. And now getting opportunity in Washington, yes, it is going to help him playing on that top line, probably with Ovechkin and TJ Oshie. His numbers are going to go up. Yes, both of these players I just named are aging. They are getting a bit older, but it does seem like this will help PLD, Pierre-Luc Dubois, kind of break out of the funk that he's been in over this last little while, and I'm excited for this guy. I've been following PLD for a while. When he came into the league, I thought he was going to be a phenomenal player. I thought that he was going to be that next kind of superstar, and we never really seen that. We have seen flashes of him being that player, but it just has never panned out on whatever team he's been on. But now going to a Washington Capitals team that, you know, is a bit aging and going into a little bit of a rebuild themselves. They're still trying to win while Ovi is in the league, while he's still chasing Gretzky's record. By bringing in a star like PLD, it is going to help that. But I think that this is a massive steal for LA, because LA, they had a great season last year. They, you know, were looking good going into the playoffs. Unfortunately, they came up upon, the Edmonton Oilers, who are now in the Stanley Cup final and are looking to make a 3-0 comeback. Oh my God, I can't believe that. But I think one thing that they were missing was goaltending. And yes, I know, speaking to a lot of Capitals fans, a couple of my buddies are Washington fans, and they are very happy to see Darcy Kuemper go. As we bring up his stats here, I mean, yes, this season he had 13 wins, 14 losses with an 8.90 save percentage, but he has shown, you know, that he can be a very, very solid goaltender in the NHL, and I think getting him a new home in LA is really going to help him. Obviously, Washington's defense was kind of, you know, lacking this year, in my opinion, losing like guys like Dmitry Orlov, who was so good for them as a defensive guy, kind of, you know, it kind of derailed their defense a little bit, and I think, you know, that kind of impacted Kuemper a lot, actually, because, you know, when you don't have as solid of a decor in front of you as you're used to, it's going to be harder to do your job as a goaltender in the NHL. But now him going to the Los Angeles Kings, where, in my opinion, they have a very, very solid blue line. It's really going to help boost his numbers and get back up to that around that 900 save percentage range, which we all know Darcy Kuemper can be. And when I look at this, I think it's a win-win trade for both sides here. I think PLD getting, a new home in Washington is really going to help him and spark a fire in him to become a better player. And same on the side of Kuemper. Yes, he had a rough season. I mean, Washington kind of had a rough season all in all, in my opinion. But now him getting a new home in LA where, they have a very, very solid team. They're a team that are looking to make the playoffs, and we're missing that goaltending piece this season. I think this is going to be huge for him and huge for LA. And this is why, not right now, but I guess right now, because I think it's a steal, but I think going into next season, probably halfway through the season, we're going to look back on this trade and be like, wow, what a steal that the Los Angeles Kings got for Darcy Kuemper. Because obviously PLD wanted to move on. He wanted to get a new home. So they had to ship him out. And they shipped him out for Darcy Kuemper, who I think is a very, very promising goalie in the NHL, and it really has the talent to be a number one guy. And I think that him going to LA, he's really going to flourish there and be coming to his own as a goaltender, and I'm really excited for that. And I think this is why we're going to look at this and say this is a steal, because obviously, the contract plays a factor into this as well. I mean, PLD being signed $8.5 million or whatever it is till the 30-31 season is, a lot for a 40-point player last season. It is a lot. So if he doesn't, he is still 25, but if he doesn't, evolve into that player that the Washington Capitals want, that, everybody has expected him to be, is really going to look like a huge loss for Washington if they're paying $8.5 million a season for a 40-point player. Yes, we've seen him have a full healthy season, which was great, but we need to see Pierre-Luc Dubois be better. And that's not me being harsh. It's not me being critical. It's just, when you're signed for that amount of money, so much is expected of you in return. And we really haven't seen that. And I think that's why he's moved around so much, is because he's really never found that system. He's never found that home that he feels comfortable in, that he feels like he can be that top player again that we all know he was in the juniors and stuff like that. But I'm really hopeful. Pierre-Luc Dubois, I think that he is going to improve next season, just playing alongside a guy like Ovi, such a veteran. He's been in the league so long. He knows what to do, and I think that's going to help, Pierre-Luc Dubois a lot. Just learning from him is going to help a lot. And I think, just the playmaking ability of Dubois and the goal-scoring ability of Ovi, yes, he is aging, is really going to help him as well. And I hope that, he can improve and become the player that we all want him to be. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this trade down below in the comment section. Love reading your comments on these videos. Are you with me? Do you think this is a huge steal for the LA Kings? Let me know down below in the comment section. But we're going to get into the second topic of the video today, which is Laine sweepstakes are heating up. And yes, as we take a look from NHL Watcher, this is Friedman on Patrik Laine on his recent 32 Thoughts podcast. He said, I've had a few people who said to me, you have to watch Seattle on this one. That doesn't come as a surprise because the Kraken have been looking for scores. And I love this. I'm a huge Patrik Laine guy. I love his personality. I love his style. And, Patrik Laine, yes, he has been struggling with injuries as of late and stuff like that. We haven't really seen a full season of Patrik Laine, but this is a guy who at one point in his career was a 40-point goal scorer and was the number 2 overall draft selection. And I think, Patrik Laine, kind of similar to Pierre-Luc Dubois, he's moved around, not as much as Pierre-Luc Dubois, but he's a guy who's never really found that footing as well in the league, and I think going to Seattle would really benefit his career. And I think pairing this guy up with a young stud like Matty Beniers is going to be lethal because Matty Beniers is an amazing playmaker. He's an amazing NHL player for his age, and just pairing him up with Patrik Laine, who is an elite goal scorer, has one of the better shots in the NHL, in my opinion. You can rip me apart for saying that below in the comment section, but I really do think that Patrik Laine has a lot of potential left in him. He just needed to find that spot, needs to find that team, needs to find that home where he can unleash it. And I think Seattle is the perfect spot for him. I mean, we got guys like Jared McCann, Matty Beniers, obviously. And we got young guys coming up in Seattle too, like Jagger Furcus, who is an elite goal scorer as well. So I think getting him to Seattle is really what Patrik Laine needs and is what's really going to help his career. And I think if Patrik Laine gets traded to Seattle, we're seeing another 40-goal season if he can stay healthy, because I think him and Beniers will make some magic happen there. And I'm really excited for that because I am huge on Patrik Laine, and I think that he has it still left in the tank to be what everybody wants Patrik Laine to be. And I think pairing him up with Matty Beniers is just going to be a lethal connection in Seattle. But you're probably wondering, how are they going to make this happen? And Seattle, yes, they do have a lot of cap space, so they can take on this full contract. And what can they offer Columbus in return? And that is picks. I mean, if you look at the picks they have right now, they have their first for the next 3 years. They have 2 seconds this year, 2 thirds this year. They have 2 fourths next year. So they have a abundance of picks that they can use to get Patrik Laine. Do I think it's multiple first-round picks? No. Do I think one is in there? Yes. I think we will see, 1 first-round pick just based off of the season we've seen from him. Obviously, he only played 18 games and was struggling with injuries, so we never really got to see what he could do this season. But I think a first rounder is definitely in there, second rounder is definitely in there, but it's going to be an abundance of picks to get him in. Columbus gets him off of their books in regards to cap. They can use that elsewhere this offseason to, extend guys, bring new guys in, and Columbus has that kind of younger team coming up that they obviously have guys like Ken Johnson, Adam Fantilli there, which are, bright young stars in the NHL, which is really going to help Columbus, in the future. So getting that cap taken away, whatever it is, 8 million, 7.5, I forget at the top of my head. Let me know in the comment section if you know Laine's exact contract, but I think getting that money off the books is going to be huge for Columbus, and I think that this trade would be a win-win for both sides. I think Patrik Laine wants a new home. We thought that Gaudreau and Laine were going to be perfect. We never really got to see that because of Patrik Laine's injuries, but I think getting him to Seattle is going to be crucial for his career, and I really, really hope it happens. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that hypothetical trade down below in the comment section as well. But we're going to get into everybody's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to Trailer Park Boys. He says, Markstrom not worth a first. Ouch. But I mean, could work out for the Devils, but a first for a 34-year-old goalie is tough. But I think I kind of disagree with you here, Trailer Park Boys. Do appreciate you sharing your opinion. We don't always have to agree on everything you guys say down below in the comment section, but I think this is going to work out very well for New Jersey, because one thing that they missed last year was goaltending. Yes, Markstrom at 34 years of age is aging, but he is still a very dominant goaltender, and I think, if this trade can get them further in the postseason and further on their Stanley Cup journey, the first round pick will definitely be worth it. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that one down below in the comment section as well. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure down below, hit that like button while you're down there, comment on the video. You might be featured on the next comment of the day. Also, hit subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any NHL content that's going to be coming up over these next couple of months. But as always, I've been your host, KC. Keep your stick on the ice.